let's change the way that retail investors are treated in the region.
You sound like an activist
100%.
investor.
Yeah, man. So unfortunately, that has to be a little bit of Carl Icahn or Bill Ackman when you go there. Some people just not listen to. And so while on the public side, we don't want to be activist investors, sometimes you have to end up being activists, right? Warren Buffett typically is a passive investor. He wants to buy into great companies that already have great management, and then can shut his eyes and sleep sound. I would love that as well. I think all of us would love that. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works. So when he bought into American Express, they've had issues. Solomon Smith Barney, I mean, he's had major issues. They've had issues recently with Wells Fargo. So sometimes you have to actually just grab somebody by the scruff of their neck and just shake them up and say, oh, this can't work. The customers will fire you. I will fire you. The customers will fire you. They'll stop spending money with you, which means they fire you. And we have to start with that in mind. How are we treating our customers and how are we treating our employees? Sometimes that requires it to be a little more activist. In our case, though, right, we're not buying a ton of companies. And I'll give an example of why that I like it. There's a company in Jamaica, the CEO of a public company on the junior market, I can't give the name, approached me in December at an event after I spoke at an event as a keynote. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Mullings, I want a few minutes with you. And I said, man, I soon leave. You have until the car come around and pick me up. So the guy's going to the parking lot. All right, I'll make it quick. I'm CEO of this company. We want to, listed on the junior market, and we want you to buy 25% of the company and join the board. So that means it's an associate company. It's not 19.99. I mean, 20% and up. An associate company. I said, oh, great. I'm fascinated. Why would you want me to buy? What specific? And I said, well, a few things. Number one, it gives us additional credibility having an overseas company buy into our business. Okay. You can open foreign markets for us that we don't have the relationship, so they see it as a growth opportunity. And then we can bring new thinking to the management that they may not have the same experience. They didn't do MBAs, they didn't go to school abroad, and he wants to get that additional outside perspective. I said, oh man, that's amazing. I like that you've actually thought this through. We feel those are the things we bring to be catalytic investors. We can help catalyze this business growing as well. I was like, well, have you thought through the downside implications? And the man look at me puzzled and say, what do you mean? What downside could there be? I said, well, if I buy the shares, and everybody know we're cautious, patient capital, we're looking for great companies and great management, then your share price should go up because you're buying. I said, exactly, I know. I said, yeah, but then if you don't do what we expect you to do, I'm going to just dump the stock. I don't need to wait and discuss. I just sell your shares. I'll dump everything. And I'll tell everybody why. Because our company is going to be publicly traded. So I have to tell my shareholders why. And the man looked like he went white. I said, oh, so you didn't think about it? No, I never considered that part. So before we buy, you need to go back and think about it, then come back to me and tell me if you really want it. Because basically, I'm going to have you buy your boss. Just tell me if you want it. He has not been back to me yet.
Or even the other side where if you don't like where it's going, you just increase your stake. You can take over.
Yeah. Either way, him out, right? It just, I don't think enough people think about it when they want to sell shares to somebody because they're visible, it gives them credibility. But what happens if you screw it up and the person then leaves? Or they get so vexed, them take over the business and kick you out.
Yeah.
When you take money from other people, work for them. It's as simple as that, right? I work for my shareholders. I have to deliver for them. It's not my thing and only my thing. I've taken $1 from somebody. I now work for them. I have a responsibility to them. I'm trying to get them
their own shares. So it's ownership in the business. Yeah.
It's no partnership, man. I owe you updates. I need to tell you, here's our framework for making decisions. Here's what happened. Here's where we wanted to go. Here's where it went instead. Here's how we're going to make sure it gets corrected, or here's what we're going to do, right? Or guess what? I have to leave. Somebody else should take it over. But I don't think enough people realize how serious it is when you do that. And unfortunately, a lot of people run public companies, and they're doing a horrible job at investor relations. And so essentially our portfolio is split in two. Our portfolio is split in mainly safe, no problem, I don't have for stress. And then we have two right now activist positions, and so we will be applying some pressure soon. You'll hear me announce joining the board of one entity in the next 6 months, and you'll understand the play more at that point in time.
This is on the JSE.
On the JSE, yes, sir.
Okay.
We have 3 companies we've targeted for board seats on the JSE, junior and main market. 3 of them.
Nice.
Okay. No, that's very nice, because I think the whole point about activist investor, I think it was last year, I started learning about some of the, like you mentioned, Carl Icahn, Bill Ackman. I'd heard about their feud and how like I think I'll try to drop a YouTube video in the link for anyone that's interested in it. There's this guy on YouTube, he does like documentaries on each of these investors. And then you hear about some of the plays that these guys have done. It's like they go into this company, management is doing crap. They start buying shares, they reach a point, they lobbied in all the other shareholders, say, hey, they come up with a plan, say, hey, we can do this, we could increase the share price possibly by this, and then the shareholders sell, and then they actually turn around the company. That is actually how they made a serious penny. So I would love to see more of that on the JSE, and I think also, because I think it's better off for retail investors.
It is. You think about it. The retail investors typically don't have enough clout. They're tiny, and they don't come together to go and vote. They don't concentrate and meet before that when they go into an AGM, for example.
Agreed.
And somebody like us can amass a position both with our own capital and retail investors' capital that we pool. We can meet with our team and our people and say, hey guys, so here's how we feel about this thing, and we're going to vote this way and this and vote that way. In fact, we're going to try to take a board seat or 2 boards. Here's what can happen. They now understand, first of all, why we still like the company, where we see opportunity, and then why we're voting this way. I think, unfortunately, that education piece keeps getting missed. We need to educate the investor base instead of look down on them.
This is what we're trying to do with this podcast,
Exactly. And more power to you for doing that, man. We need more of this. And I love that you're doing that.
Yeah. Can I even think about, I don't know if you know about Carib Cement. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, the whole royalty that the shareholder wanted to impose. Mayberry, big up Mayberry, they were essentially doing what you were doing. It's just that they didn't really have that say. So they actually put out a notice saying, we don't agree with this, we'll be voting against it. They did end up losing, but I think
at least it was out there.
And I think they're the only broker who would do something like that.
And so full disclosure, I expect something to happen with Carib Cement later. Not us, we are not in it. But from what I'm hearing, something might be putting on the table again, and there's going to be should be a big fight in Jamaica if that really is put on the table.
Yeah, we've been seeing Carib Cement's trajectory. Like they've been selling pieces of business throughout the Caribbean, as well. Like they've been selling different stakes in different countries. So as profitable as they do look right now in Jamaica, for me, anything's on the table. So
anything is on the table at this point. So let's see. You would think that with the amount of money that has to be spent on infrastructure over the next decade, Carib Cement stands to benefit the most. You would think.
They're one of them. Yeah.
So let's see.
They're increasing capacity. Everything
30% upgrade.
Man. So let's see where it goes. There is definitely opportunity there. We are not in Carib Cement at this point in time. Our analysts continues to look at it on an ongoing basis. As you expect, we want to talk to management though before we even go in and need to understand what's the plan for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I really want to know 10 years. And if I don't agree with it, I just not buy. And I don't have to. That's really, we don't have to buy. We want to own 15 JSE stocks, main and junior market. That's it, just 15.